Well, yes, I just talked about this, but yes, there are still people coming from every angle to mount their extraordinarily spirited defense of Jamal Murray and detailing just why he is an elite performer. More often than not, for some reason, LeBron James is always intertwined into these fantastical defenses of Murray and Jokic's supporting cast as a whole. And this is, I believe, a very important topic because in my estimation, championships are not merely a factor to be considered at the end of the day when evaluating a player's greatness. They are the factor. The most important quality in measuring a player, any player in any sport, is how they positively impact their team's ability to win. And I have spent personally a lot of time and effort on this channel in challenging the legacy of LeBron James, not simply because he hasn't won enough over the course of going on 22 years now, but in questioning the way he has gone about winning. Merely counting championships is irrelevant if you have to team jump not once, not twice, but 3 times in the course of your prime to surround yourself with ideal situations. But never at any time did anyone impugn LeBron for leaving Cleveland after 7 years. It was in the way he left Cleveland. There is a very fine line between leaving in search of more help and going to the 3rd best player in the NBA at the time and recruiting a top 20 player to come and join you. When LeBron took his talents to South Beach in the summer of 2010, he was coming off of a season where he was first-team All-NBA and the league MVP. Same as Jokic this season. Dwayne Wade, meanwhile, was coming off of a season where he was first-team All-NBA as well and second-team All-NBA defense. LeBron finished as the league leader that year in box plus minus, and Wade was second in the NBA. Wade finished 5th that year in MVP voting and 3rd the year before. The modern day player that best fits this profile, that finished second to Jokic in BPM, was first team All-NBA and finished 3rd in league MVP, is Luka Doncic. And way back in 2009-2010, Chris Bosh was an all-star, finished 4th league-wide in player efficiency rating, and averaged 24 points and 11 rebounds. A player that most closely fits this modern-day player profile, scoring 24 points per game this year and 12 rebounds a night, while finishing 5th in PER, is Anthony Davis. There are levels to this. No one was saying Cleveland provided LeBron with adequate help in his first 7 years there, but there is, again, an extraordinarily fine line to leaving in search of a better supporting cast and breaking the damn system to amass an unbeatable super team. How many titles would Nikola Jokic win if he were to go build a team with Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis? Probably something along the lines of, well, this.
Not 5, not 6, not 7.
But that is not what we are talking about here. That is not what anyone is asking. Just that Jokic needs a viable amount of supporting cast help in Denver, something he does not have currently and seemingly never will with this latest preposterous $208 million extension to Jamal Murray. Oh, by the way, in LeBron's first 7 seasons in Cleveland, he played with 2 All-Stars and 1 All-NBA defensive team selection. Jokic is going on year 10 and has never played with a single All-Star, All-NBA team designated player, or All-NBA defensive selected player. Oh, and that's right, LeBron didn't win shit in Cleveland. Jokic already has a title, which is why the 1 ring that Jokic does have is more impactful than any of the 4 that LeBron has stolen throughout the course of his cheap and pitiful super team runs. Because Jokic didn't leave. He didn't get the help. He isn't stacking decks. But now holding Jokic accountable for failing to get up to that elevated ring count that we hold other all-time greats accountable for reaching simply doesn't make any sense when looking around at the supporting casts he will be burdened with. Jamal Murray is not only injury-prone, as he played just 59 games last season, marking the 4th consecutive year in a row where he has failed to surpass the 65-game total. He is also, quite frankly, just an above-average to good player. He is about to become the only $50 million annual player in the league today to never have a single All-NBA team under his belt. But he hasn't even made a single All-Star team. And of course, I know several people think he has been snubbed for several seasons now. But exactly what season would that be? Last year was his best season yet, posting career highs in points, assists, shooting percentage, and three-point percentage. It was his best season ever in several advanced categories, including value over replacement, box plus minus, win share, and player efficiency rating. A guy who has identical career averages to that of D'Angelo Russell last season averaged 21 points per game, 6.5 assists, and 4.3 rebounds. For some comparison, here are Cade Cunningham's numbers last season. And here are Kyle Kuzma's averages from a season ago. Oh, what about DeJounte Murray, you might be wondering? Take a look. Hell, here are Kyrie Irving's seasonal outputs last year. And guess what? None of them made the All-Star team either. And last regular season, the guy who will now be making over $50 million a year was 35th in value over replacement during the regular season. And again, that was a career high last season in VORP. And for some more context on that, he finished just below Scottie Barnes, Mike Conley, and Kristaps Porzingis. These are all very nice players. None are second best players on a championship caliber team. For some additional context, some other notable players above him in VORP a year ago include Derek White and Fred VanVleet. Again, nice players, and again, not second best players on a title team. And on top of that, the Nuggets have practically no bench depth whatsoever. They are an extraordinarily thin and top-heavy team, which includes essentially only Nikola Jokic. Though sure, we are likely being overly tough on Jamal Murray by measuring him by his regular season accomplishments, as we all know how much better he gets in the playoffs. Yeah, well, remember that 35th place finish in value over replacement during the regular season last year? Well, that plummeted to 93rd in the playoffs.
What?
That's 93. Now, VORP is somewhat tied to and limited by the amount of games the Nuggets played versus teams that went 2 rounds deeper in the playoffs than them, like the Mavericks or Celtics. I mean, not even the undisputed advanced analytics GOAT, Nikola Jokic, led last year's playoffs in VORP. But he was second to only Luka Doncic, while Murray, again, 93rd. Meanwhile, Nikola Jokic led the postseason last year, again, in box plus minus, and that was while Jamal Murray was just 76th. That, by the way, is one spot below teammate Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who the Nuggets let walk in free agency. This lineup is laughable, and yet troll snakes will continue to slither onto this platform and countless others to promote the fact that Jokic needs to be held to similar standards of other stars. This is straight insane asylum talk, as is the prospect of paying this bum-ass Jamal Murray over $60 million in his aged 31 season. LeBron would have skipped town years ago. In fact, he already did. You won't see Jokic crawling out of town, though, to a top 5 players team, begging or whining for additional help. He will just shoulder the brunt of the blame and criticism needlessly when this all goes predictably bad. And make no mistake, this is going to end very badly in the Mile High City, and when it does, there is at least one guy associated with this dumpster fire of an organization that deserves absolutely none of the blame. We should instead be celebrating whatever amount of successes he somehow manages to end up with at the end of what has already been a storied career.